It's good to see you again. I'm glad you made it in today.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How have things been with you? I know when we last met, kind of the focal point of what we talked about was cutting out alcohol out of your kind of routine. And you mentioned it. You'd noticed some negative effects it was having at work and kind of within some of your relationships. So how's that been going? I guess I'll start. What have been some high points for you since we last met?
Well, we just celebrated Mother's Day and that was really fun. It was my second Mother's Day, so.
That's always a good time. What'd you do? You guys do anything special for Mother's Day?
Yeah, we went to my brother-in-law's and had some family over there, just cooked out and got the families together.
Cook out, weather's finally getting nice. You can start doing fun stuff like that again. Can I ask, was there drinking at this cookout?
Yeah.
Yeah? What about for you? Did you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't drink around my daughter. I don't drink when I'm with her or spending time with her. I just don't want her to see that.
Yeah, that's, I think, a common boundary that a lot of people set for themselves. Many individuals that I think, in particularly ones that deal with substance use issues, they create certain limitations, restrictions for themselves, because they might know that they have an issue, so it's like, well, this is a line I'm not willing to cross. Do you feel like you always stick to your boundaries? You don't cross the lines that you've set for yourself?
Yep, definitely will not drink in front of my daughter or with her.
Are there other limitations that you've kind of, like lines in the sand,
There is. I'm trying to think of one. Even before having her, I would set boundaries like at holidays, for example, like not letting myself get to a certain point. Like I would have maybe a drink or two, but again, holidays for me is about family, and I just didn't think it'd be appropriate to be getting drunk when I'm supposed to be spending time with my family. So I guess that would be another one. I guess family is the big one.
Okay. I always find it interesting. Those in your life that maybe don't deal with substance use issues or problems with their drinking, do you find that they have to set these limitations or barriers for themselves?
So you're saying people who don't have substance use?
Yeah, because just from what I've seen, I guess kind of anecdotally, it's you might not realize it, but it's kind of it seems to be a substance use disorder specific thing.
Yeah, it's tough to say. A lot of people that I associate with may have some substance use issues that I might not realize. Yeah, I guess I can't say I've had a conversation with someone where they've like shared their limitations or boundaries with me. My parents struggle with substance use, and they had very similar boundaries with like drinking around family. They would drink around us as kids, but when we would go to family gatherings, they wouldn't drink. So I guess that would be an example, and maybe that's kind of where I learned it from.
Well, and the only reason I bring that up is because one of the early indicators for a person that they might have an issue is when they try to set restrictions on their use.
I kind of disagree though. I just think it's common that most people don't want to drink around their kids, regardless of having substance use issues or not. I mean, I think most people I know don't drink in front of their kids.
And I think that's a good thing. I'm not disagreeing with you on that point.
And that's my only boundary, really, is.
Okay, so that is, okay. Yeah, I guess it's just something to be aware of. If you find yourself, a common one is, I won't drink before 5 p.m. Or I won't drink during the work week. But it sounds like you have good insight on this idea, this topic. I just wanted to probe a little bit, get your thoughts on it, and kind of see where you're at.
Yeah, it's something that I can be aware of.
Yeah. I'm wondering, did you have any low points since we last met?
Yeah, I had a situation. My boss reached out to me and wanted to meet with me, and he shared that some of my coworkers have been concerned about my mental health. We have a really tough group coming in next year, so I felt like he was not really being genuine in supporting, asking how I'm doing. I feel like he was just kind of feeling me out to see if I'm going to be returning next year. Okay. And I think he kind of used my coworkers' concern for me as like leverage to see if I can handle the hard group we have coming back next year, or if he thinks I might quit. Okay. It was just hard to hear that my coworkers are supposedly saying things about my mental health.
Have your coworkers ever brought this to your attention? Any of these concerns?
The two coworkers that I work closely with they've just made comments about how it seems like I seem really tired, or it seems like like when I miss work, they're always like, hey, are you good? And they've just been encouraging me to, talk to them if I have stuff that comes up.
When you're missing work, what's that generally?
Like why I miss work?
Yeah.
It can be a mixture of just needing a mental health day, or sometimes I wake up just feeling nauseous, or just not feeling well, and I just don't think I'd make it through the day. So
these days where you wake up not feeling well, are they mornings after you've drank?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay. Yeah. I know previously you've talked about how passionate you are about the work that you do, working in special education, and I mean, a very practical benefit of cutting out alcohol is you have a lot less of those days where you wake up feeling nauseous, not maybe feeling the best. Have you ever heard the term anxiety?
No.
It's essentially a hangover-induced anxiety that I think is common with a lot of people. So I think just one of the practical benefits of not drinking is you feel a lot better physically and definitely mentally.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. However, the school year's ending, and I'm going to be on summer break the next couple months, so I feel like it's not really going to affect me that much because I'll be able to sleep in. I'll have less on my plate. I'm really just going to try to enjoy my summer and relax. So, I mean, it might be something I'll come across, as I get back into work in the fall, but as of now, I just kind of want to relax and enjoy my summer.
Do you think this summer could be, this time away from work, to me it seems like it could be a great opportunity to instill new practices, new routines, develop new ways to relax, so that when the school year comes around, you already have a new routine and kind of a new lifestyle in place.
Yeah, and I think there's a part of me that knows that. But I don't know, it just seems easy to push it off. I feel like yeah, go ahead.
Well, can I ask you what else you do to relax? What's some stuff, or even maybe it's not something you're doing currently, but something in the past, something healthier than, having that drink to unwind?
I used to enjoy playing video games, but it's just hard to find the time now being a mom.
You mentioned sometimes when your kiddo goes down, she's, safe in her crib and you're not around your kid anymore, so that's kind of when you have those drinks. Maybe that's a good time to bust out the old video games.
Yeah, just thinking ahead to the fall when I do return to work, I don't think some people realize how hard it is to cope with the work I do, and especially with this hard group coming in. A part of me just feels like I'm gonna need alcohol to be able to unwind and really just cope with the year I'm about to have. It's gonna be one of the most challenging groups that I'll have. And again, I just don't think people who haven't worked in the field that I'm in just don't quite know what it's like. So, the idea of playing video games, sounds nice, but I just don't know if it's really something that's gonna help me enough to get through this coming school year.
So, change is scary, especially changing something we know or we think works for us. And I guess it just brings me back to, I think now is a great time to address this before, if we're worried next school year is going to be very challenging and difficult to get through. I think now is a good time to start addressing these issues so that when we're in the thick of it next year, we're not having more and more problems arise because of this unhealthy way of coping that we're utilizing.
What if I started by reducing the amount I drink? Like, what if I just didn't drink during the week for a bit? I know we talked about how some people set limitations, but maybe that could be my version of a trial run.
I am a firm believer in total abstinence, but if that is a way that we can get you to begin, strongly considering total abstinence, recovery is not a one-size-fits-all thing. A lifestyle of sobriety looks different for everyone, and how they get there looks different for everyone. So if you're willing to fully commit to that, trying that out for a week, but I'm going to ask you if you can maybe make a journal or a log every morning and take note of how you feel physically, mentally when you wake up and throughout the day, every day for this next week, and then you have something to reference as to how you feel physically and mentally days you drink versus days you don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that sound like something you can do?
Yeah, I can try that.
Okay. Awesome. I'm excited. We're kind of meeting in the middle here, and we're taking a real look in consideration at making some changes.
Yeah, I just, maybe if I get to a spot where I am just drinking on the weekends, maybe that's something that's just gonna work for me. But like you said,
Or maybe you could realize that, you don't need it on the weekends. But let's start here, and we can move forward once we take a look at how this week goes.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in, Courtney.
See ya.